case of this top-secret memo has captivated Washington and dominated media coverage. Joining us now, White House Deputy Press Secretary Hogan Gidley, also a special assistant to the president. Great to have you with us, Hogan.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Okay, so let's talk about this memo. There were accusations late last night. We covered them breaking as this show was going on, that there were some alterations to the memo before it went to the White House. There were questions about whether the White House had anything to do with the alterations. What can you tell us?
We had nothing to do with any alterations. As you know, Shannon, that this document it was generated in Congress. It was sent to the White House. A final copy was sent to the White House. What we received, the president takes very seriously, and he met with the relevant stakeholders. People in the White House counsel, also on the national security team. They poured through the document to find out the next steps and what they should do with it. I know I can report tonight that we are kind of moving into the final stages of that, but the president has not made a decision yet.
But everybody thinks we're going to see it tomorrow.
Everybody does, but there's a process in place here, and obviously the president would never do anything to put the American people at risk or harm our national security in any way. But that's why the process takes so long. And there's a 5-day window there where the president has to go through the document. He did that with the team, and they'll make a decision soon.
Okay, with that in mind, how was this statement from the FBI, I'll read part of it, received over at the White House? The FBI was provided a limited opportunity to review this memo the day before the committee voted to release it. As expressed during our initial review, we have grave concerns about material omissions of fact that fundamentally impact the memo's accuracy.
Right. And again, this is coming to us already finished. Whatever squabbles they have over in Congress, whatever the FBI is saying that Congressman Nunes did, then that's up to them. We received the document, and we're doing exactly what we're outlined to do by law to make sure that it protects the American people, and that if it does get declassified, that there is nothing in there that would harm this nation.
Okay, I want to read a couple of analyses of where the president is on this memo and give you a chance to respond. From CNN, they say this: President Donald Trump continues to tell his associates he believes the highly controversial Republican memo alleging the FBI abused its surveillance tools could help discredit the Russia investigation. Multiple sources familiar with the White House discussions said. Does he think that this memo is going to discredit the Mueller investigation?
I'm not going to get ahead of anything the president is going to say. I can tell you he's read the document, he's poured through it meticulously, and he's met with the relevant stakeholders to figure out what to do. Because, as I said, this is very important, not just for what actually occurred. The president's been very clear. Obviously, he supports the rank-and-file members of the FBI. He believes that they are hardworking. He believes they deserve our respect and appreciation. But it's obvious, too, that at the senior levels, that reports have shown some serious biases against Donald Trump and biases for Hillary Clinton during the Hillary Clinton investigation. That's troublesome. And he's all about transparency. He wants these things to come out. Hadn't made a decision yet, but he definitely wants he believes that sunlight is best in this situation.
Okay. CNN also saying this, that Trump is so frustrated with the Russia investigation and, in turn, Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General, that he may look for any opportunity to build a case for Rosenstein's firing.
I mean, I can't speak to that. I haven't talked to the president about that. But again, this process, it's so public because every time people are trying to leak information out about this, but I can tell you so many reports were brought out today on various aspects of this memo, about the aspects of the process, and they were all wrong. I mean, several reports saying he was going to release it before he took off today to fly to West Virginia. Didn't happen. And we were all sitting at the White House just kind of laughing at who's saying these things, because obviously it's that old adage that the people who know don't talk and the people who don't know talk. And that's obvious today.
Okay, let's talk about immigration, because the president has made a 4-pillar proposal that some on the right don't like because they're upset about 1.8 million people now being eligible for a pathway to citizenship who are here illegally. The left is unhappy about wall and all these other kind of things, too. The president spoke to this.
They're unhappy about a lot of things.
They
Let's just be
are, a lot of
honest.
this.
Okay.
But the president spoke to this tonight, and the Democrats, and where they are in immigration.
You know, the Democrats are AWOL. They're missing in action. We're saying, where are they? We have a proposal. We never hear from them. Because I don't think they want to solve the DACA problem. I think they want to talk about it. I think they want to obstruct. You know, the name is Resist. That's the name of their movement. Resist. That's all they do is resist.
Will they find a way to meet in the middle and get something done before March 5th?
Right. What are they resisting? lower taxes, more money in their pocket? Are they resisting
a wall that they don't want, for one thing?
Right, a wall. But look, they all voted for that wall in 2006 and 2013. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The Democrats are playing politics with people's lives, and you saw that in the shutdown. The president did a masterful job exposing exactly what Democrats are about. They want to shut down the government, put our military at risk, put our 8.9 million children at risk who receive health care from the government, all to protect hundreds of thousands of people who are here illegally and unlawfully, as opposed to the hundreds of millions of American citizens. That line has been clearly drawn. The president comes forward and says, not only am I going to give a really strong border security plan that ends chain migration, ends the visa lottery, things Democrats used to be for, by the way, protects our nation, gives the border security exactly what they need. I'm even going to put out 1.8 million people with a possibility for a pathway to citizenship. That's 3 times more than President Obama offered, and the Democrats still don't want it. It's just baffling.
We'll keep watching, as we know you will. Hogan, always good to see you.
Thank you,
Thanks for coming in.
Great to see you.